Right now, somewhere in the world, an alarm clock is ringing. A hand reaches out. It hits snooze. 5 minutes later, it rings again. Snooze. 10 minutes later, snooze again. And when that person finally drags themselves out of bed, they whisper the same sentence millions of people whisper every single morning. I'm already tired. Not after work. Not after a long day. Before the day even begins. Think about that. We live in the most technologically advanced time in human history. Machines do our laundry. Apps manage our calendars. Cars drive faster than ever. Information travels instantly. Yet people have never felt more exhausted. Not just physically, mentally exhausted, emotionally drained, spiritually empty. Most people think they have a time problem. They say, I don't have enough hours in the day. I'm too busy. I wish I had more time. But the truth is far deeper than that. You don't have a time problem. You have an energy problem. Because time is fixed. Everyone gets 24 hours. But energy decides what you do with those hours. Energy decides whether you chase dreams or scroll endlessly. Energy decides whether you grow or just survive. Energy decides whether life feels exciting or exhausting. You don't need more hours in your day. You need more life in your hours. And here's the uncomfortable truth most people never realize. People aren't tired because they're doing too much. They're tired because they're doing too much of what drains them and too little of what fuels them. They wake up tired. They go to work tired. They come home tired. They go to sleep tired, and slowly, without realizing it, they begin living life in low-power mode. Dreams get postponed. Goals get delayed. Passion gets replaced by routine, until one day they look back and ask, where did my energy go? This audiobook is your answer. Because energy is not something you're born with or without. Energy is not luck. Energy is not personality. Energy is a system. And once you learn how to master it, everything changes. Your productivity changes. Your mood changes. Your relationships change. Your confidence changes. Your future changes. You don't need a new life. You need a new energy. Welcome to the beginning of your transformation. This audiobook is not about working harder. It's about living stronger. Energy is everything. Mastering your daily drive is a guide to the most overlooked currency in modern life, your personal energy. In a world obsessed with productivity hacks, time management tools, and success strategies, one truth is constantly ignored. Success does not come from managing your time. Success comes from managing your energy. In the next chapters, you will discover why some people wake up excited, while others wake up exhausted, why some people stay focused, while others constantly feel distracted, and why some people move through life with passion, while others feel stuck in survival mode. You'll learn how your physical body, your mind, your emotions, and your sense of purpose work together to create the fuel that powers your life. You'll understand why burnout has become a global epidemic, why motivation feels temporary, why discipline feels hard, and why your daily habits may secretly be draining the very energy you need to succeed. This audiobook is for the person who feels tired of being tired, for the person who knows they are capable of more but can't seem to access the drive, for the dreamer who wants to turn intention into action. Energy is the real currency of achievement, happiness, and fulfillment, and by the end of this journey, you will know how to generate it, protect it, and multiply it. Before we dive in, welcome to Limitless Listening. Thank you for being here and choosing to invest your time in your growth, mindset, and self-mastery. This channel exists for one purpose: to bring powerful ideas, life-changing books, and transformational lessons directly into your ears so you can grow while you walk, drive, work, or rest. If you believe in becoming the best version of yourself, consider subscribing and joining this journey of continuous growth. Now, let's begin the audiobook. Chapter 1. The Energy Crisis Nobody Talks About. There is a silent crisis affecting millions of people across the world, yet it rarely makes headlines. It doesn't spark protests, dominate news cycles, or trigger emergency alerts, but its effects are deeply felt in everyday life, in missed opportunities, abandoned dreams, broken routines, and a lingering sense of dissatisfaction. This is the modern energy crisis, not a shortage of fuel or electricity, but a depletion of human energy. People wake up tired. They go through the day dragging their feet. They delay important tasks, avoid challenges, and feel overwhelmed by even simple responsibilities. At night, they collapse into bed, often feeling like they've done nothing meaningful, only to repeat the same cycle the next day. It's not laziness. It's not a lack of ambition. It's something deeper. For years, society has labeled low energy and lack of motivation as laziness. If you're not productive, you're seen as undisciplined. If you procrastinate, you're told you lack willpower. If you feel stuck, you're advised to just try harder. But this explanation is not only incomplete, it's harmful. What looks like laziness on the surface is often a sign of internal exhaustion. Imagine trying to drive a car with an empty fuel tank. No matter how much you press the accelerator, the car won't move. The problem isn't the driver, it's the lack of fuel. In the same way, people today are running on empty. They are mentally drained, emotionally overwhelmed, and physically depleted, and yet they are expected to perform at their best. The hidden drain on your energy. Energy is not just physical, it has multiple dimensions: mental, emotional, and even psychological. When any one of these is compromised, your overall energy suffers. Let's explore some of the biggest hidden drains that are silently stealing your energy every day. 1. Mental overload. We live in an age of constant information, notifications, messages, emails, social media updates. Your brain is processing more data in a single day than people did in weeks or even months in the past. Every piece of information demands attention. Every decision, no matter how small, consumes mental energy. What to wear, what to eat, what to reply, what to watch. These micro-decisions add up. This leads to what psychologists call decision fatigue. By the time you need to focus on something important, your brain is already exhausted. 2. Emotional exhaustion. Life is not just about tasks, it's about feelings. Relationships, expectations, disappointments, comparisons, and pressures all create emotional weight. When you carry unresolved stress, anxiety, or self-doubt, it acts like a constant background drain on your energy. You may not always be aware of it, but it's there, pulling you down, slowing you down. Emotional exhaustion often shows up as lack of motivation. You don't feel like doing anything, not because you don't care, but because you're emotionally overwhelmed. 3. Lack of purpose. One of the most overlooked causes of low energy is the absence of a clear purpose. When you don't know why you're doing something, it becomes harder to find the energy to do it. Tasks feel meaningless. Effort feels pointless. Purpose acts like a natural source of energy. When you're working towards something that matters to you, you feel more alive, more focused, and more driven. Without it, even small tasks can feel heavy. 4. Poor physical habits. Your body and mind are deeply connected. Poor sleep, unhealthy eating, lack of movement. These don't just affect your body, they directly impact your energy levels. Sleep deprivation alone can reduce cognitive performance, weaken emotional control, and lower motivation. Add poor nutrition and inactivity, and you have a perfect recipe for constant fatigue. Yet, in a fast-paced world, these basic habits are often neglected. 5. Digital addiction. Technology has made life easier, but it has also made it more distracting. Endless scrolling, binge-watching, and constant engagement with screens create a false sense of relaxation. But in reality, they often leave you more drained. Why? Because your brain never truly rests. It's always stimulated, always engaged, always processing. Instead of recharging, you're continuously consuming. The motivation myth. Many people believe that motivation comes first, that you need to feel motivated before you can take action. But this is one of the biggest misconceptions. Motivation is not the starting point. It is a byproduct of energy and action. When your energy is low, motivation disappears. You don't feel like starting, so you don't act. And because you don't act, you don't build momentum. This creates a vicious cycle. Low energy, no action, no results, more frustration, even lower energy. Breaking this cycle requires a shift in understanding. Instead of waiting for motivation, you need to focus on restoring your energy. The cost of low energy. Living in a constant state of low energy doesn't just affect your productivity, it affects your entire life. You stop chasing opportunities because they feel too demanding. You avoid challenges because they feel overwhelming. You settle for less because aiming higher feels exhausting. Over time, this leads to regret, not because you didn't have the ability, but because you didn't have the energy to use it. Dreams remain ideas, goals remain plans, potential remains unrealized. The modern lifestyle trap. The way we live today is fundamentally different from how humans evolved to live. We spend hours sitting, staring at screens, consuming information, and dealing with abstract stress. Our bodies are inactive, but our minds are constantly active. This imbalance creates a unique kind of fatigue, one that rest alone cannot fix. You can sleep for 8 hours and still wake up tired. You can take a day off and still feel drained. Because the problem isn't just physical, it's systemic. The role of stress. Stress is often seen as something external, deadlines, responsibilities, challenges. But the real issue is not stress itself, it's how long it stays with you. Short bursts of stress can be beneficial. They push you to perform, adapt, and grow. But chronic stress, stress that never goes away, becomes toxic. It keeps your body in a constant state of alertness. Your mind never fully relaxes. Your energy reserves are constantly being used, even when you're not doing anything. Over time, this leads to burnout. And burnout is not just extreme tiredness. It's a complete depletion of mental, emotional, and physical energy. Why rest isn't enough. When people feel tired, their first instinct is to rest. And while rest is important, it's not always the solution. If your energy is being drained faster than it's being restored, rest alone won't fix the problem. It's like trying to fill a leaking bucket. No matter how much water you pour in, it keeps draining out. To truly restore your energy, you need to identify and fix the leaks, reclaiming your energy. The good news is that energy is not fixed. It can be rebuilt, but it requires awareness and intentional action. You need to understand what drains you and what fuels you. Some activities give you energy, others take it away. The key is to create a life where your energy sources outweigh your energy drains. This doesn't mean eliminating all stress or challenges. It means managing them in a way that doesn't exhaust you. Small changes, big impact. Rebuilding your energy doesn't require drastic changes. In fact, small, consistent improvements often have the biggest impact. Getting better sleep, reducing unnecessary distractions, taking short breaks, moving your body regularly, setting clear priorities. These may seem simple, but they are powerful. Because energy is cumulative. Every positive habit adds to it. Every negative habit takes away from it. The power of awareness. The first step to solving any problem is awareness. Most people don't realize how much their energy is being drained. They go through life on autopilot, repeating patterns that leave them exhausted. But once you become aware, you gain control. You start noticing what affects your energy. You begin making better choices. You become more intentional with your time and attention. And slowly, things start to change. A new perspective. What if your lack of motivation isn't a flaw, but a signal? What if your tiredness is not a weakness, but a message from your body and mind that something needs to change? Instead of judging yourself, you start listening to yourself. Instead of forcing productivity, you focus on restoring energy. This shift in perspective is powerful because it moves you from self-criticism to self-awareness, from frustration to understanding, from burnout to balance. The beginning of change. This chapter is not about giving you a quick fix. It's about helping you see the problem clearly. Because once you understand the real cause of your low energy, you can start addressing it effectively. You don't need more motivation. You don't need more pressure. You don't need to push yourself harder. You need more energy. And in the chapters ahead, you'll learn how to rebuild that energy, step by step, habit by habit, mindset by mindset. But it starts here, by recognizing that the problem is not who you are, it's how you've been running your life. And that can be changed. Chapter 2: Energy versus Time. The Real Productivity Secret. For decades, productivity advice has revolved around one central idea: manage your time better, create schedules, use planners, set deadlines, optimize every hour of your day. Time management has been presented as the ultimate solution to getting more done and achieving success. And while it has its place, it overlooks a deeper, more powerful truth. It's not about how much time you have. It's about how much energy you have. Two people can have the same 24 hours in a day, yet produce completely different results. One moves forward with clarity and momentum, while the other struggles just to get through basic tasks. The difference is not time. The difference is energy. The equalizer that isn't equal. Time is the most evenly distributed resource in the world. Every person, regardless of status, wealth, or background, gets the same 24 hours each day. But energy is wildly uneven. Some people wake up feeling refreshed, focused, and ready to take on challenges. Others wake up already exhausted, dreading the day ahead. Some can work for hours with deep concentration. Others feel mentally drained after just a short period. If time were the key to productivity, everyone would be equally productive. But clearly that's not the case. We often assume that having more time will solve our problems. If I just had more time, I would start that project. If I had a free day, I would finally get things done. But how often have you had free time and still didn't do what you planned? You procrastinated, you got distracted, you felt too tired to start. Because the issue wasn't time, it was energy. Without energy, time becomes empty space. With energy, even a short amount of time becomes powerful. What energy really means. When we talk about energy, we're not just talking about physical stamina. Energy has multiple layers, and each one plays a role in how you perform. 1. Physical energy. This is your body's capacity to function, your strength, stamina, and overall vitality. It's influenced by sleep, nutrition, hydration, and movement. When your physical energy is low, everything feels harder. Even simple tasks require effort. 2. Mental energy. This is your ability to focus, think clearly, and make decisions. Mental energy determines how well you can concentrate and how long you can sustain that concentration. When it's depleted, you feel distracted, foggy, and overwhelmed. 3. Emotional energy. This is the energy you get from your emotional state. Positive emotions like excitement and passion can boost your energy, while negative emotions like stress and anxiety can drain it. 4. Purpose-driven energy. This is the energy that comes from meaning. When you're working towards something that matters to you, you naturally feel more motivated and engaged. Without it, even small tasks feel heavy and draining. Why time management alone fails. Traditional time management focuses on organizing your hours, but it ignores a crucial factor. Your energy fluctuates throughout the day. There are moments when you feel sharp and focused. There are moments when you feel tired and unfocused. If you try to do high-focus work during low-energy periods, you'll struggle, even if you've scheduled it perfectly. This is why perfectly planned days often fall apart. It's not because you lack discipline, it's because you're working against your natural energy patterns. The energy-first approach. Instead of asking, "How should I manage my time?" start asking, "How should I manage my energy?" This simple shift changes everything. Rather than forcing yourself to work at specific times, you align your tasks with your energy levels. High energy periods, deep, important work. Medium energy periods, routine tasks. Low energy periods, rest, recovery, or light activities. This approach allows you to work smarter, not harder. The power of peak hours. Everyone has certain times of the day when they naturally feel more alert and focused. These are your peak energy hours. For some, it's early morning. For others, it's late at night. The key is to identify your peak and protect it. Use this time for your most important tasks, the ones that require creativity, focus, and deep thinking. Don't waste your peak energy on distractions or low-value activities, because 1 hour of focused, high-energy work can be more productive than 3 hours of low-energy effort. The hidden cost of low-energy work. Working when your energy is low doesn't just slow you down, it also lowers the quality of your work. You make more mistakes, you take longer to complete tasks, you feel more frustrated. This creates a negative feedback loop. The more you struggle, the more drained you feel. And the more drained you feel, the harder it becomes to work. Over time, this leads to burnout. Energy leaks versus energy sources. If you want to improve your productivity, you need to identify 2 things. What drains your energy? Energy leaks. What restores your energy? Energy sources. Energy leaks can include constant distractions, negative environments, overcommitting, lack of sleep, unclear goals. Energy sources can include meaningful work, positive relationships, physical activity, breaks and recovery, clear direction. The goal is simple: reduce the leaks and increase the sources. The rhythm of work and recovery. One of the biggest mistakes people make is trying to work continuously without breaks, but energy doesn't work that way. Energy operates in cycles. You can't stay at peak performance indefinitely. You need periods of recovery. Think of it like breathing. You inhale, work, then exhale, rest. Both are necessary. Short breaks throughout the day can actually increase your overall productivity. They allow your brain to reset and recharge. Without recovery, your energy steadily declines. The trap of always busy. In modern culture, being busy is often seen as a sign of productivity. But busyness is not the same as effectiveness. You can fill your entire day with tasks and still accomplish nothing meaningful. Why? Because you're using time, not energy. True productivity is not about doing more. It's about doing what matters, with full energy and focus. Protecting your energy. If energy is your most valuable resource, then protecting it becomes essential. This means learning to say no. It means setting boundaries. It means being intentional with how you spend your time and attention. Not every task deserves your energy. Not every opportunity is worth your effort. When you treat your energy as limited and valuable, you start making better decisions. Building energy, not just saving time. Most productivity systems focus on saving time. But saving time without building energy doesn't help much. Instead, focus on habits that increase your energy. Consistent sleep schedule, nutritious food, regular movement, mindful breaks, focused work sessions. These habits don't just make you feel better, they make you perform better. The compounding effect of energy. Energy has a compounding effect. When you have more energy, you take more action. When you take more action, you get better results. When you get better results, you feel more motivated. This creates a positive cycle. High energy, more action, better results. More motivation even higher energy. Compare that to the negative cycle: low energy, less action, poor results, frustration, even lower energy. The direction of your life often depends on which cycle you're in. A new definition of productivity. It's time to redefine what productivity means. Productivity is not about filling every minute of your day. It's not about doing as many tasks as possible. Productivity is about using your energy effectively on what truly matters. When you focus on energy, you naturally become more efficient with your time because you're no longer forcing yourself to work. You're working in alignment with your natural state. The shift that changes everything. Imagine approaching your day differently. Instead of asking, "What do I need to do today?" you ask, "When will I have the most energy, and what should I do during that time?" This shift may seem small, but it changes how you plan, how you work, and how you live. It allows you to do important work when you're at your best, rest without guilt when you need it, avoid burnout while staying productive. The real secret to productivity is not squeezing more into your day. It's expanding the energy you bring into your day. Because time is fixed, but energy can be built, restored, and multiplied. When you master your energy, you naturally master your time. And when you master both, you unlock a level of productivity and fulfillment that most people never experience. In the next chapter, we'll go deeper into understanding where your energy actually comes from and how to start increasing it in practical, powerful ways. Because once you learn to build energy intentionally, everything in your life begins to change. Chapter 3. The 4 types of energy. If you want to truly understand productivity, motivation, and performance, you need to understand one thing first. Energy is not one-dimensional. Most people think of energy only in physical terms, how awake or tired they feel. But that's just one piece of the puzzle. You can be physically rested and still feel unmotivated. You can be mentally sharp but emotionally drained. You can have all the resources and still feel stuck. That's because your total energy is made up of 4 different types: physical energy, mental energy, emotional energy, purpose energy. These 4 work together like a system. When one is low, it affects the others. When all are strong, you operate at your highest level. This chapter will help you understand each type of energy deeply, and more importantly, how they shape your daily life. 1. Physical energy, the foundation of everything. Physical energy is the most basic and visible form of energy. It's your body's ability to function, your strength, stamina, and overall vitality. Without physical energy, nothing else works well. You may have big goals and great ideas, but if your body is exhausted, you won't have the strength to act on them. What drains physical energy? Many people underestimate how much their daily habits affect their energy levels. Poor sleep or inconsistent sleep schedule, unhealthy eating habits, dehydration, lack of physical movement, excessive screen time, and inactivity. These might seem like small things, but they add up. Over time, they create constant fatigue. The sleep illusion. A common mistake people make is thinking that just sleeping enough hours is enough, but quality matters just as much as quantity. You can sleep for 8 hours and still wake up tired if your sleep is interrupted, irregular, or shallow. Your body needs deep, restorative sleep to recharge properly. Movement creates energy. One of the most surprising truths is this: energy is not just used, it's created. When you move your body, you actually generate more energy. Exercise improves blood flow, oxygen levels, and brain function. That's why even a short walk can make you feel more alive. The foundation principle: if your physical energy is low, everything else becomes harder. Focusing feels difficult. Emotions feel heavier. Motivation disappears. That's why physical energy is the foundation. Fixing it doesn't solve everything, but ignoring it makes everything worse. 2. Mental energy, the power of focus. Mental energy is your ability to think, concentrate, and make decisions. In today's world, this type of energy is under constant attack. You are surrounded by distractions, notifications, messages, social media, endless content. Your brain is always processing something, and every bit of processing consumes energy. The cost of distraction. Every time you switch tasks, your brain pays a price. You lose focus, you lose momentum, you waste energy trying to refocus. This is why multitasking feels productive, but actually drains your mental energy faster. Decision fatigue. From the moment you wake up, you start making decisions. What to wear, what to eat, what to check, what to do next. Each decision uses a small amount of mental energy. By the time you need to make an important decision, your brain is already tired. This is called decision fatigue, and it's one of the hidden reasons people struggle to stay productive. Deep work versus shallow work. Not all work requires the same level of mental energy. Deep work requires focus, creativity, and thinking. Shallow work is routine, repetitive, and easy. If you try to do deep work when your mental energy is low, you'll struggle. But if you align deep work with your peak mental energy, your productivity increases dramatically. Protecting mental energy. To maintain strong mental energy, you need to reduce unnecessary distractions. Focus on one task at a time. Take regular breaks. Limit information overload. Your brain is like a battery. If you keep draining it without recharging, it will eventually shut down. 3. Emotional energy, the hidden force. Emotional energy is often the most overlooked and the most powerful. It's how you feel on the inside. Your emotional state directly affects your ability to act. You can have the time, you can have the skills, but if your emotional energy is low, you still won't move. How emotions affect energy. Positive emotions like excitement, joy, and passion increase your energy. Negative emotions like stress, anxiety, fear, and frustration drain it. This is why some days you feel unstoppable, and other days everything feels heavy. The difference is not your ability, it's your emotional state. The weight of unresolved emotions. Many people carry emotional burdens without realizing it. Unfinished conflicts, unspoken thoughts, self-doubt, comparison with others. These create a constant background stress that drains energy silently. You may not notice it directly, but it affects everything you do. Emotional avoidance. Instead of dealing with emotions, people often try to escape them through distractions, entertainment, or procrastination. But avoidance doesn't remove emotions, it just delays them. And while they're delayed, they continue to drain your energy. Managing emotional energy. Improving emotional energy doesn't mean being positive all the time. It means becoming aware of your emotions and learning how to handle them. Acknowledge what you feel. Express it in healthy ways. Reduce unnecessary stresses. Surround yourself with positive influences. When your emotional energy improves, everything feels lighter. 4. Purpose energy, the ultimate driver. Purpose energy is the most powerful type of energy and the most rare. It comes from having a clear sense of meaning and direction in your life. It answers the question, why does this matter? The difference purpose makes. When you have a strong purpose, you feel naturally motivated. You push through challenges more easily. You stay consistent even when things get hard. Purpose turns effort into passion. Without it, even small tasks feel exhausting. Why people feel lost? Many people struggle with low energy not because they are tired, but because they are disconnected from purpose. They go through routines without meaning. They work on things they don't care about. They chase goals that don't truly matter to them. This creates a deep sense of emptiness. And that emptiness drains energy more than anything else. Purpose creates energy. Unlike other types of energy, Purpose doesn't just support action, it drives it. It gives you a reason to wake up early. It gives you strength when you feel tired. It keeps you going when motivation fades. Purpose is what transforms ordinary effort into extraordinary results. Finding your purpose. Purpose is not something you instantly discover. It's something you build over time. It comes from understanding what matters to you, exploring different paths, taking action and learning from experience. You don't need a perfect purpose to start. You just need a direction that feels meaningful. How the four energies work together. These four types of energy are deeply connected. Low physical energy makes it harder to think clearly. Low mental energy increases stress and emotional overwhelm. Low emotional energy reduces motivation. Lack of purpose makes everything feel meaningless. But the reverse is also true. Improving one type of energy can lift the others. Small changes in one area can create big improvements overall. This is why focusing on just one area is not enough. You need a balanced approach. The real problem most people face. Most people are trying to fix their productivity problems at the surface level. They try to manage time better. They try to push themselves harder. They try to stay disciplined, but they ignore the real issue. Their energy system is out of balance. When your energy is low, discipline feels hard. When your energy is high, discipline feels natural. Building your energy system. Think of your energy like a system that needs maintenance. You don't fix everything at once. You improve it step by step. Start with your physical energy, sleep, food, movement. Improve your mental focus, reduce distractions, work on emotional awareness, manage stress. Build a sense of purpose, find meaning in what you do. Each step strengthens the system. A simple self-check. Take a moment to reflect. Do you feel physically tired most of the time? Do you struggle to focus? Do you feel emotionally drained or stressed? Do you feel disconnected from what you're doing? Your answers will tell you which type of energy needs the most attention. Only feel. You don't lack motivation. You don't lack discipline. You lack balanced energy. And once you understand where your energy is being lost and how to rebuild it, you unlock a completely new level of performance and clarity. In the next chapter, we'll go deeper into identifying the specific habits and patterns that are secretly draining your energy every day and how to eliminate them. Because before you can build energy, you need to stop losing it. Chapter 4. Why you wake up tired. You go to bed at night, hoping to feel better in the morning. You tell yourself, tomorrow I'll have more energy. Tomorrow I'll be productive. But when morning comes, you still feel tired, not just physically, but mentally heavy, emotionally drained, and unmotivated to start the day. So you hit snooze. You scroll your phone. You delay getting up, and the cycle begins again. This is one of the most frustrating experiences of modern life. Sleeping, but not feeling rested. And the truth is, waking up tired is not random. It has causes, deep, systemic ones that most people never fully understand. In this chapter, we'll uncover 4 of the biggest reasons why you wake up exhausted, even when you think you've rested. Poor quality sleep, chronic stress, dopamine overload, burnout culture. 1. Fawn. Sleep isn't just about hours, it's about quality. The most obvious explanation for waking up tired is lack of sleep. But here's the deeper truth. It's not just how long you sleep, it's how well you sleep. You can sleep for 7-8 hours and still feel exhausted if your sleep quality is poor. The sleep disruption problem. Modern life is full of things that quietly destroy sleep quality. Scrolling your phone before bed, exposure to bright screens at night, irregular sleep schedules, late-night eating, overthinking, and mental stimulation. All of these interfere with your body's natural sleep cycle. Your brain doesn't just need sleep, it needs deep, uninterrupted sleep cycles to fully recover. When those cycles are broken, Your body doesn't recharge properly. The tired but wired state. Have you ever felt physically tired but mentally active? Your body wants to rest, but your mind won't slow down. This is often caused by overstimulation, too much input, too much thinking, too much stress. So even when you lie down, your brain keeps running, and that leads to shallow, ineffective sleep. The result? You wake up feeling like you didn't sleep at all, because in a way you didn't get the kind of sleep your body actually needs. 2. Chronic stress, the silent energy killer. Stress is one of the biggest reasons people wake up tired, but not all stress is obvious. You might not feel stressed in the traditional sense. You may not be panicking or overwhelmed, but your body can still be under constant pressure, the always-on mind. Modern life keeps your brain constantly active, thinking about work, worrying about the future, comparing yourself to others, managing responsibilities. Even when you're resting, your mind is not. This creates a state of chronic stress, a low-level, continuous tension that never fully goes away. Why stress ruins sleep? When you're stressed, your body stays in alert mode. Your nervous system doesn't fully relax. Your brain remains partially awake, even during sleep. This means you don't enter deep sleep properly. You wake up more often during the night. Your body doesn't fully recover. Emotional carryover. Another problem is that stress carries over from one day to the next. If you go to bed with unresolved thoughts or emotional tension, you wake up with them too. Your body may have rested, but your mind hasn't. 3. Dopamine addiction, the hidden drain. This is one of the most overlooked causes of low energy. You might think that scrolling social media or watching videos helps you relax. It feels easy, it feels enjoyable, but underneath that, something else is happening. What is dopamine? Dopamine is the brain chemical associated with pleasure, reward, and motivation. Every time you check your phone, watch a video, or get a notification, your brain releases a small amount of dopamine. The problem with overstimulation. Modern technology is designed to keep you engaged. Short videos, infinite scrolling, constant updates. These create rapid spikes of dopamine over and over again. At first, it feels good, but over time your brain adapts. The crash effect. When your brain gets used to constant stimulation, normal activities start to feel boring. Work feels harder, studying feels draining. Even simple tasks feel exhausting. Not because they are difficult, but because your brain is no longer used to low stimulation activities. Nighttime dopamine overload. Using your phone at night is especially damaging. You flood your brain with stimulation right before sleep, so when you try to rest, your brain is still active, still expecting more input. This delays sleep and reduces its quality. The result? You wake up mentally tired, even if your body rested, because your brain never truly shut down. 4. Burnout culture, the bigger problem. Beyond personal habits, there's a cultural issue at play. We live in a world that glorifies being busy. Working long hours is praised. Being constantly productive is admired. Rest is often seen as laziness. This creates pressure. The pressure to always do more. Many people feel like they're never doing enough. Even when they rest, they feel guilty. Even when they relax, they feel unproductive. So they push themselves harder. More work, more effort, less rest. The burnout cycle. This leads to burnout, a state of complete energy depletion. Burnout is not just physical tiredness. It includes mental exhaustion, emotional detachment, loss of motivation, and one of its biggest symptoms, waking up tired, no matter how much you sleep. Why burnout doesn't go away overnight? Burnout is not fixed by one good night's sleep. It's the result of long-term imbalance. Your body and mind have been under pressure for too long. So even when you try to rest, recovery takes time. The real reason you wake up tired. It's rarely just one factor. It's usually a combination. poor sleep quality, ongoing stress, constant stimulation, lack of real recovery. These stack on top of each other, and over time, they create a constant state of low energy. Why mornings feel so hard? When all these factors combine, mornings become the hardest part of the day. You don't just feel sleepy, you feel resistant. Resistant to getting up, resistant to starting tasks, resistant to effort. This is not laziness. It's your system telling you, I'm not fully recharged. Breaking the cycle. The solution is not to push harder. It's to fix the root causes. Improve sleep quality. Reduce screen time before bed. Keep a consistent sleep schedule. Create a calm, dark environment. Reduce mental noise. Avoid overthinking before sleep. Write down thoughts if needed. Give your brain time to slow down. Control dopamine intake. Limit late-night scrolling. Be intentional with digital use. Allow your brain to experience boredom. Respect recovery. Take real breaks. Don't glorify exhaustion. Understand that rest is productive. A different way to think about rest. Rest is not a reward for work. It's a requirement for performance. You don't earn rest, you need it. When you start seeing rest as part of productivity, everything changes. Waking up tired is not a personal failure. It's a signal. A signal that your energy system is overloaded, overstimulated, and under-recovered. And once you understand that, you stop blaming yourself. You start fixing the system. Basic nullmation. Imagine waking up feeling clear, light, and ready. Not because you forced yourself, but because your body and mind are actually recharged. That's not unrealistic. It's just uncommon. Because most people never address the real causes, but now you're starting to see them. And that awareness is the first step toward change. In the next chapter, we'll go deeper into identifying the specific daily habits and behaviors that are quietly draining your energy and how to eliminate them one by one. Because before you can build lasting energy, you must first stop losing it. Chapter 5. The Hidden Energy Killers. Most people don't realize where their energy is going. They wake up tired, feel unmotivated throughout the day, and assume something is wrong with them. They try to fix it with motivation, discipline, or better time management. But nothing seems to work, because the real problem is not a lack of effort. It's constant, unnoticed energy loss. Your energy isn't just used for productive work. It's being drained, quietly, consistently, by things you barely pay attention to. Small habits, daily environments, subtle influences. Individually, they seem harmless. But together, they create a powerful effect. They keep you in a permanent state of low energy. In this chapter, we'll uncover the 4 biggest hidden energy killers: social media overload, negativity and mental toxicity, destructive daily habits, toxic environments. Once you see them clearly, you'll realize something important. You don't need more energy. You need fewer leaks. 1. Social media, the silent energy drain. Social media is one of the most underestimated sources of energy loss. It doesn't feel like work. It doesn't feel exhausting. In fact, it often feels relaxing. But that's exactly why it's so dangerous. The illusion of rest. When you scroll through your phone, it feels like a break. You're not doing anything difficult. You're just consuming content, but your brain is still working. Every image, video, caption, and comment requires processing. Your brain is constantly switching attention, interpreting information, and reacting emotionally. So instead of resting, your mind is being continuously stimulated. Micro-distractions, major impact. The real problem is not just long hours of scrolling, it's the constant interruptions. Checking your phone for a few seconds here and there may seem harmless, but each time you do, you break your focus. Your brain has to shift attention, process new information, rebuild focus afterward. This constant switching drains mental energy faster than sustained work. The comparison trap. Social media also affects your emotional energy. You see people succeeding, traveling, achieving, living better lives. Even if you don't consciously compare yourself, your brain does. You start to feel behind, not good enough, dissatisfied with your own progress. This creates subtle emotional stress, and emotional stress consumes energy, dopamine and motivation loss. As discussed in the previous chapter, social media floods your brain with dopamine. Over time, this reduces your sensitivity to normal rewards. Simple tasks, studying, working, building something, start to feel dull. You don't feel motivated, not because the tasks are hard, but because your brain is used to instant gratification. The hidden cost. You don't notice it immediately, but after a session of scrolling, you often feel slightly tired, less focused, less motivated. That's the cost. And when this happens multiple times a day, every day, your energy slowly disappears. 2. Negativity. The emotional energy leak. Negativity is not always loud or obvious. It's often subtle, quiet, and internal. Negative thoughts, self-doubt, worry, overthinking. These may not seem like energy drains, but they are some of the most powerful ones. The weight of negative thinking. Your thoughts are not neutral. They affect your emotional state. And your emotional state affects your energy. When your mind is filled with negative patterns, it creates a constant internal tension. What if I fail? I'm not good enough. This won't work. Even if you don't act on these thoughts, they still consume energy. Overthinking and mental fatigue. Overthinking is one of the biggest hidden drains. You replay situations, you imagine worst-case scenarios, you analyze every detail repeatedly. This uses mental energy without producing results. It's like running a machine all day without creating anything. External negativity. It's not just your own thoughts, your environment also plays a role. Negative people, constant complaining, criticism, and pessimism all affect your emotional state. Even if you try to ignore it, your brain absorbs it, and over time, it shapes your mindset. Emotional contagion. Emotions are contagious. If you spend time around people who are constantly negative, stressed, or frustrated, you begin to feel the same way, not because you want to, but because your brain mirrors the environment around you. The result: negativity creates a constant emotional drain. You feel heavier, less motivated, more resistant to effort, and often you don't even know why. 3. Bad habits. The invisible patterns. Some of the biggest energy drains are not dramatic, they are routine. Small habits repeated daily. Things you don't question. Things you don't notice anymore. The power of repetition. Habits shape your energy over time. One bad habit won't destroy your energy, but repeated daily, it becomes a pattern. And patterns define your baseline. Common energy-draining habits: irregular sleep schedule, skipping meals or eating poorly, excessive screen time, lack of physical movement, constant multitasking. Each of these slowly reduces your energy, not enough to notice immediately, but enough to affect you over time. The comfort trap. Many bad habits feel comfortable. Scrolling feels easy, staying in bed feels relaxing, avoiding difficult tasks feels safe. But comfort is not always beneficial. Sometimes what feels good in the moment costs you energy in the long run. Delayed consequences. The problem with bad habits is that their effects are delayed. You don't feel the impact right away, but over days, weeks, and months, your energy decreases, and you don't connect it to the habits because the connection is not immediate. Breaking the pattern. To improve your energy, you don't need to change everything. You need to identify the habits that are quietly draining you and replace them one by one. 4. Toxic environments. The energy you absorb. Your environment shapes your energy more than you think. It's not just about where you are physically, it's about what surrounds you. The people, the atmosphere, the expectations. Physical environment, cluttered, noisy, or uncomfortable spaces can drain your energy. They create distraction. They reduce focus. They increase stress. On the other hand, Clean, organized, and calm environments support energy. Social environment. The people you interact with daily have a major impact. Supportive people can boost your energy. Negative or critical people can drain it. If you're constantly around negativity, it becomes your default state. Work and culture. Some environments demand constant output without proper recovery. Long hours, high pressure, little recognition. This leads to chronic stress and burnout. Even if you try to stay positive, the environment works against you. The feeling of being stuck. Toxic environments often create a sense of being trapped. You feel like you can't change your situation. You feel like you have no control. This helplessness drains emotional energy faster than anything else. The compounding effect. Here's what makes these energy killers so powerful. They don't act alone. They stack. You scroll your phone late at night, toward sleep. You wake up tired, low mental energy. You feel unmotivated, negative thoughts. You avoid work, more stress. You stay in the same environment, continued drain. This creates a cycle. And the longer it continues, the harder it becomes to break. Why you don't notice it? If these things are so harmful, why don't people see them? Because they are normal. Everyone scrolls. Everyone experiences stress. Everyone has habits. These behaviors are part of everyday life. So instead of questioning them, people accept them, and slowly their energy decreases, without a clear reason. Awareness is the turning point. The moment you become aware of these energy drains, something changes. You start noticing patterns. You begin to see what affects you. You realize that your energy is not random. It's influenced by your daily choices. And that realization is powerful, because it means you have control. Eliminating energy leaks. You don't need to eliminate everything at once. Start small. Reduce unnecessary screen time. Limit exposure to negativity. Improve one daily habit. Adjust one part of your environment. Each small change reduces energy loss. And as the leaks decrease, your natural energy begins to return. The shift that matters. Most people try to increase productivity by adding more tasks, more effort, more pressure. But real improvement comes from removing what drains you. Less distraction, less negativity, less overload. Because when you stop losing energy, you don't need to force productivity. It happens naturally. The key insight: you are not tired because life is too hard. You are tired because too much of your energy is being drained by things that don't deserve it. And once you start protecting your energy, everything changes. You feel lighter, clearer, more in control. In the next chapter, we'll shift from identifying problems to building solutions. You'll learn how to actively create and increase your energy, so you're not just avoiding drains, but becoming stronger, more focused, and more energized every day. Because the goal is not just to survive your day, it's to have the energy to fully live it. Chapter 6. The Morning Energy Ritual. How you start your morning shapes everything that follows. Your focus, your mood, your productivity, your energy. Most people underestimate the power of the first hour of the day. They wake up, check their phone, rush through their routine, and react to whatever comes their way. And then they wonder why they feel distracted, tired, and unmotivated. High performers do things differently. They don't leave their mornings to chance. They design them intentionally, because they understand one simple truth: win the morning, and you win the day. This chapter is not about creating a perfect or complicated routine. It's about building a morning energy ritual, a simple, repeatable system that helps you start your day with clarity, control, and power. Why mornings matter so much. When you wake up, your mind is in a unique state. It's fresh, less cluttered, more receptive. You haven't yet been pulled into distractions, stress, or external demands. This is your highest leverage window of the day. If you use it well, you build momentum. If you waste it, you spend the rest of the day trying to recover. The reactive versus proactive start. Most people start their day reactively. They check notifications, they respond to messages, they scroll social media. Before they even think about their own priorities, they're already reacting to other people's demands. This drains mental and emotional energy immediately. High performers start proactively. They take control before the world takes control of them. The first rule: protect your first hour. Your first hour after waking up is sacred. It sets the tone for everything that follows. If you fill it with distraction, your day becomes scattered. If you fill it with intention, your day becomes focused. No phone rule. One of the most powerful habits you can build is simple. Don't check your phone immediately after waking up. Why? Because your phone brings information overload, emotional triggers, instant distraction. It pulls your mind in multiple directions before you've even centered yourself. Instead, give yourself space. Even 20-30 minutes without your phone can dramatically improve your clarity and focus. Focus. Step 1. Wake up with intention. How you wake up matters. Most people wake up reluctantly. They hit snooze, they delay getting out of bed, they feel resistance. This creates a slow, heavy start. The shift: instead of dragging yourself out of bed, train yourself to wake up with purpose. Not perfectly, but consciously. You don't need to jump out of bed with excitement, but you can choose to get up without negotiation. Because every time you hit snooze, you're telling your brain, delay is okay. And that mindset carries into the rest of your day. Step 2. Activate your body. Your body needs movement to fully wake up. After hours of sleep, your system is slow. Blood flow is reduced. Energy is low. Movement changes that instantly. Simple activation ideas. Stretch your body. Do light exercise. Take a short walk. Do a few push-ups or jumping jacks. You don't need an intense workout. Even 5-10 minutes of movement can increase blood flow, boost alertness, improve mood. Movement creates energy. Step 3. Hydrate and reset. After sleep, your body is naturally dehydrated. Even mild dehydration can make you feel tired, foggy, and sluggish. The habit: start your day with water. It's simple but powerful. It helps wake up your system, improve focus, increase physical energy. You can also add small habits like washing your face with cold water or stepping outside for fresh air. These signals tell your body the day has started. Step 4. Calm your mind. Before you fill your mind with tasks and information, take a moment to center yourself. This is where many people go wrong. They go from sleep directly into chaos. Create mental space. You don't need anything complicated. Sit quietly for a few minutes. Focus on your breathing. Reflect on your thoughts. Write in a journal. This helps you reduce mental noise. Gain clarity. Start the day with intention. Even 5 minutes of stillness can make a huge difference. Step 5. Set direction for the day. One of the biggest reasons people feel overwhelmed is lack of clarity. They start the day without knowing what truly matters, so they react to everything. The power of clarity. Take a few minutes to decide, what are the most important tasks today? What must get done, no matter what? Not everything, just the key priorities. When you know what matters, you stop wasting energy on what doesn't. Step 6. Do one meaningful thing early. High performers don't wait until later in the day to do important work. They start early, while their energy is still high. The momentum effect. When you complete something meaningful in the morning, you feel accomplished. You build confidence. You gain momentum. This makes the rest of the day easier. Even one small win can shift your entire mindset. The ideal morning flow. Simple version. Your morning ritual doesn't need to be complicated. Here's a simple structure. Wake up without snoozing. Avoid phone for the first 20-30 minutes. Move your body 5-10 minutes. Drink water. Take a few minutes to calm your mind. Set your top priorities. Start one meaningful task. This can take anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour. That's it. Consistency over perfection. The goal is not to create a perfect morning. The goal is to create a consistent one. You won't always follow it perfectly. Some days will be messy. That's okay. What matters is returning to the routine. Because consistency builds rhythm, and rhythm builds energy. The identity shift. When you follow a morning ritual, something deeper changes. You stop seeing yourself as someone who reacts to life. You start seeing yourself as someone who leads your day. This builds confidence, not from motivation, but from action. Why this works? This ritual works because it aligns with how energy actually functions. Movement activates physical energy. Stillness restores mental and emotional clarity. Planning reduces decision fatigue. Early action builds momentum. You're not forcing productivity. You're creating the conditions for it. Common mistakes to avoid. 1 point. Making it too complicated. You don't need a 10-step routine. Start simple. Add more only if needed. 2. Being inconsistent. Doing a great routine once doesn't help much. Doing a simple routine daily does. 3. Starting with distraction. Checking your phone first thing destroys focus. Protect your attention early. Your personal ritual. Your ideal morning ritual may look different. Maybe you prefer quiet reflection. Maybe you prefer movement first. The structure can change, but the principle stays the same. Start your day in a way that builds energy, not drains it. The bigger picture. The morning is not just about productivity. It's about control. When you control how you start your day, you take control of your life. One day at a time. Most people wake up and let the day happen to them. High performers wake up and create the day. Not by doing more, but by starting better. In the next chapter, we'll explore how to maintain and manage your energy throughout the day. So you don't just start strong, but stay strong. Because real success is not about short bursts of energy. It's about sustaining it. Chapter 7. Movement creates momentum. There's a moment we've all experienced. You sit for too long, scrolling, thinking, delaying. Your mind feels heavy. Your motivation disappears. You tell yourself you should start, but you don't. Then something small happens. You stand up, you walk around, you stretch, and suddenly you feel different. A little lighter, a little clearer, a little more ready. That shift is not random. It reveals a powerful truth most people ignore. Your body doesn't just respond to your mind. Your mind responds to your body. And when you learn to use movement intentionally, you unlock one of the simplest and most powerful tools for building energy and momentum. The stillness trap. Modern life is built around stillness. We sit to work. We sit to study. We sit to relax. We even sit to socialize. Hours pass with little to no physical movement. At first, this seems normal, but over time, it creates a problem. Your body slows down, and your mind follows. What happens when you stay still? When you remain inactive for long periods? Blood circulation decreases. Oxygen flow to the brain reduces. Muscles become stiff. Energy levels drop. Your body enters a low-energy state. And because your brain depends on your body, your mental state changes too. You feel sluggish, foggy, unmotivated. This is not a lack of discipline. It's a physiological response. Movement is not just physical. It's mental. Most people think of movement as something you do for fitness or health. But its impact goes far beyond that. Movement directly affects your brain, the brain-body connection. When you move your body, blood flow increases, oxygen reaches your brain more efficiently. Neurotransmitters, like dopamine and serotonin, are released. These changes improve focus, mood, Motivation. This is why even a short burst of movement can instantly shift your state. Action creates activation. Here's the key insight. You don't wait to feel energized before you move. You move to become energized. Most people get this backwards. They wait for motivation. But movement creates motivation. The momentum principle. Momentum is one of the most powerful forces in productivity. Once you start moving, physically or mentally, it becomes easier to keep going. But starting is the hardest part. Why movement helps you start? When you're stuck, your mind feels overwhelmed. Tasks seem bigger than they are. Effort feels heavier than it should. Movement breaks that state. It interrupts overthinking. It shifts your focus. It creates action. And action leads to momentum. From physical to mental momentum. Something interesting happens when you move. You take a walk. Your thoughts become clearer. You exercise. You feel more confident. You stretch. You feel more relaxed. The physical action transfers into mental clarity. This is why movement is often the fastest way to break procrastination. The energy feedback loop. Movement and energy work in a loop. Movement increases energy. Higher energy leads to more action. More action creates momentum. Momentum reinforces energy. This creates a positive cycle. Compare that to inactivity. No movement, low energy. Low energy, less action. Less action, no progress. No progress, frustration. This creates a negative cycle. The difference between the two, one decision, to move or not to move. You don't need intense workouts. One of the biggest misconceptions is that you need long, intense workouts to feel the benefits. You don't. In fact, small, consistent movement throughout the day is often more effective. Simple movement ideas: a 5-minute walk, stretching between tasks, standing instead of sitting, light exercise in the morning, moving during breaks. These small actions may seem insignificant, but they add up. And more importantly, they keep your energy active. Movement as a reset button. Throughout the day, your energy naturally rises and falls. You'll have moments where you feel stuck, tired, or unfocused. Instead of forcing yourself to push through, use movement as a reset. When to use movement? When you feel mentally stuck, when you're procrastinating, when your focus drops, when you feel tired but not physically exhausted. Instead of reaching for your phone or distractions, move your body. It's a faster and more effective way to reset your state. The emotional impact of movement. Movement doesn't just improve physical and mental energy. It also affects emotional energy. Movement changes how you feel. When you move, stress decreases, anxiety reduces, mood improves. Even something as simple as walking can help you process emotions. This is why people often feel better after a walk or workout. They didn't just move their body, they shifted their emotional state, breaking the procrastination loop. Procrastination is not just about avoiding work. It's often about being stuck in a low-energy state. You feel overwhelmed. You don't know where to start, so you do nothing. Movement breaks that loop. The move first rule. Instead of trying to think your way out of procrastination, act your way out. Stand up, walk, do something physical, then return to your task. You'll notice something. It feels easier to start because your state has changed. Building movement into your day. The key is not to rely on motivation. It's to make movement a natural part of your routine. Practical ways to integrate movement. Start your day with light activity. Take short movement breaks every 1-2 hours. Walk while thinking or brainstorming. Use physical activity as a transition between tasks. You don't need a perfect system. You just need consistency. The identity shift. When you begin to use movement intentionally, your identity starts to change. You're no longer someone who waits to feel ready. You become someone who creates readiness through action. This is powerful Because it removes dependence on motivation. The bigger truth. Your body and mind are not separate systems. They are deeply connected. Ignoring your body means limiting your mind. But when you activate your body, you unlock your mind. You don't need to force yourself to be productive. You need to put yourself in a state where productivity becomes natural. And one of the fastest ways to do that is simple. Move your body, even when you don't feel like it. Especially when you don't feel like it. Because movement creates energy. Energy creates action. Action creates momentum. And momentum changes everything. In the next chapter, we'll explore how to manage your energy during work so you can stay focused, avoid burnout, and perform at your best throughout the day. Because starting strong is important, but sustaining that energy is what truly defines success. Chapter 8. Mental Energy and Focus Mastery. You sit down to work. You know what you need to do. You have the time, but your mind doesn't cooperate. You check your phone. You open multiple tabs. You start one thing, then switch to another. Minutes turn into hours, and at the end of it, you feel like you've done nothing meaningful. This is not a time problem. It's a mental energy problem. Because focus is not just about discipline. It's about having the mental energy to stay engaged with what matters. In today's world, that has become one of the hardest skills to maintain. This chapter will show you why your focus is under attack and how to rebuild it. The modern focus crisis. We are living in the most distracted era in human history. Your attention is constantly being pulled in different directions. Notifications, messages, social media, endless content. Every platform is designed to capture and hold your attention for as long as possible. And it works. The attention economy. Your focus is not just yours anymore, it's being competed for. Companies invest billions to keep you engaged. The more time you spend distracted, the less time you spend focused. And over time, this changes how your brain works. What happens to your brain? Every time you switch tasks, your brain pays a cost. It doesn't instantly jump from one task to another. It needs time to adjust. This is called attention residue. Part of your focus stays stuck on the previous task while you try to engage with the next one. The result? Slower thinking, lower quality work, increased mental fatigue. And the more you switch, the worse it gets. The myth of multitasking. Many people believe they are good at multitasking, but in reality, multitasking is just rapid task switching. And task switching is one of the fastest ways to drain mental energy. You may feel busy, you may feel productive, but your efficiency drops. Your brain works harder, but produces less. Brain fog. The invisible barrier. Brain fog is that feeling when your mind is unclear. You can't think properly. You can't focus deeply. You feel mentally slow. This is one of the biggest obstacles to productivity. Causes of brain fog. Brain fog doesn't come from one source. It's usually a combination of factors: lack of quality sleep, information overload, poor diet and hydration, stress and emotional fatigue, excessive screen time. All of these reduce your brain's ability to function at full capacity. The real nature of focus. Focus is not about forcing your mind to concentrate. It's about removing the things that break your concentration. Think of focus as a natural state. When your mind is clear and undistracted, focus happens automatically. The problem is not that you can't focus. The problem is that your environment and habits are constantly interrupting it. Step 1. Eliminate distractions at the source. You can't win a battle against distraction if you're surrounded by it. The first step is not to try harder. It's to remove what's pulling your attention away. Control your environment. Put your phone away or on silent. Close unnecessary tabs. Turn off notifications. Use a clean, distraction-free workspace. This reduces the number of decisions your brain has to make, and fewer decisions mean more mental energy. Step 2. Focus on one thing at a time. Single tasking is one of the most powerful ways to improve focus. When you give your full attention to one task, you work faster, you make fewer mistakes, you use less energy. The rule: one task, one focus, one direction. Not forever, but for a defined period of time. Even 25–45 minutes of focused work can produce significant results. Step 3. Work with your energy, not against it. Your mental energy is not constant. There are times when you feel sharp and times when you feel tired. Trying to do deep work during low energy periods leads to frustration. Align tasks with energy. High energy, deep, important work. Medium energy, routine tasks. Low energy, rest or light activity. This simple alignment can dramatically improve your efficiency. Step 4. Take strategic breaks. Many people think breaks reduce productivity, but the opposite is true. Without breaks, your mental energy declines. Your focus weakens. Your performance drops. The right way to break. Not all breaks are equal. Scrolling your phone is not real rest. It keeps your brain stimulated. Better options: walk for a few minutes. Stretch your body. Sit quietly without stimulation. These allow your brain to reset. Step 5. Reduce information overload. Your brain has a limit. When you constantly consume information, you overload it. This leads to mental fatigue and reduced focus. Be selective. Limit unnecessary content consumption. Avoid constant news or social media. Give your brain time to process. Silence is not empty, it's necessary. Step 6. Train your focus like a muscle. Focus is not fixed, it can be improved, but like any skill, it requires practice. Start small. Don't expect to focus for hours immediately. Start with short periods, 20 minutes of deep focus, then gradually increase. Consistency matters more than intensity. As discussed earlier, dopamine plays a major role in focus. When your brain is used to constant stimulation, it struggles with slower tasks. The reset. To improve focus, you need to reduce overstimulation. Limit quick dopamine activities, scrolling, short videos. Allow yourself to experience boredom. Boredom is not a problem, it's a reset. It helps your brain regain sensitivity to normal tasks. The focus identity. At some point, this stops being about techniques. It becomes about identity. You stop seeing yourself as someone who gets distracted easily. You start seeing yourself as someone who protects their attention. This shift changes your behavior. Because you don't just try to focus, you value focus. When you improve your focus, everything changes. You complete tasks faster. You produce better work. You feel more accomplished. This builds confidence, and confidence increases motivation, which leads to more focused action. You don't need more time to get things done. You need more focused time. 1 hour of deep focus can be more valuable than 3 hours of distraction. Your attention is one of your most valuable resources. Where you direct it determines your results. If you lose control of your attention, you lose control of your time, your energy, and your life. But if you learn to protect and direct it intentionally, you unlock a level of clarity and performance that most people never reach. In the next chapter, we'll explore emotional energy, how your feelings shape your actions, and how to stay mentally strong even during stress, pressure, and setbacks. Because focus alone is not enough. You also need the emotional strength to sustain it. Chapter 9. Emotional Energy and Inner Peace. You can have a full night of sleep. You can plan your day perfectly. You can even sit down with the intention to focus. And still, you don't move. Not because you're lazy, not because you lack discipline, but because something inside feels heavy. That something is your emotional energy. It's one of the most powerful and most ignored forces shaping your life. It determines whether you take action or avoid it, whether you feel light or burdened, whether you move forward or stay stuck. Most people try to improve their productivity by fixing time or habits, but they overlook the deeper layer. How you feel determines how you act. This chapter will help you understand emotional energy and how to stop it from draining you so it can start fueling you instead. What is emotional energy? Emotional energy is the internal force created by your feelings. Every emotion carries energy. Excitement gives you drive. Joy gives you lightness. Confidence gives you courage. But also, anxiety creates tension. Fear creates resistance. Frustration creates heaviness. These aren't just feelings. They affect your ability to act. The invisible influence. You don't always notice emotional energy directly, but you feel its effects. You delay tasks without knowing why. You avoid situations that feel uncomfortable. You feel drained even when you've done little. That's emotional energy at work. The emotional drain you don't see. One of the biggest challenges is that emotional drains are often invisible. You don't see them like physical fatigue. You don't measure them like time, but they are constantly affecting you. Unresolved emotions. Every unresolved emotion stays in your system. Unspoken thoughts, past disappointments, regrets, lingering stress. These create a background load. Even when you're not thinking about them, they're still there, consuming energy. The cost of holding everything in. Many people try to ignore or suppress their emotions. They tell themselves, "I'll deal with it later. It's not a big deal. I just need to stay strong." But suppressed emotions don't disappear. They accumulate. And over time, they turn into mental fatigue, low motivation, emotional numbness, stress and emotional overload. Stress is one of the biggest emotional energy drains. But it's not just about big problems. It's about continuous pressure without release. The always carrying state. When you're constantly thinking about responsibilities, worries, and expectations, your mind never gets a break. You're always carrying something. Even during rest, even during sleep. This creates emotional exhaustion. Why you feel tired without doing much? Have you ever had a day where you didn't do much physically, but still felt exhausted? That's emotional fatigue. Your mind has been active, processing, worrying, and carrying tension. And that uses energy. The role of negative thought patterns. Your thoughts and emotions are deeply connected. Negative thinking creates negative emotions, and repeated negative emotions become your default state. Common patterns: overthinking, self-doubt, catastrophizing, expecting the worst, comparing yourself to others. These patterns don't just affect your mindset, they drain your energy. The loop. It often works like this. Negative thought, negative emotion, less action, poor results, more negative thoughts. This loop keeps you stuck. Not because you lack ability, but because your emotional energy is working against you. Emotional avoidance, the hidden trap. When emotions feel uncomfortable, the natural reaction is to avoid them. You distract yourself. You scroll. You delay. This gives temporary relief. But it creates a deeper problem. Avoidance drains energy. Avoiding emotions requires effort. You have to constantly distract yourself. You have to keep pushing feelings away. This consumes energy over time. And the emotions don't go away. They stay beneath the surface. The result: you feel restless, unclear, drained, even if you don't know exactly why. Emotional energy as a fuel. Here's the other side of the story. Emotions are not just drains. They can also be powerful sources of energy. Positive emotional states. When you feel excited, inspired, grateful, confident, you naturally have more energy. You act more. You think more clearly. You stay consistent. Why this happens? Positive emotions reduce resistance. They make action feel easier. You don't have to force yourself. You feel pulled forward. Inner peace, the true source of stability. While positive emotions give you energy, there's something even more powerful. Inner peace. Inner peace is not constant happiness. It's a state of calm, stability, and acceptance. Why inner peace matters? When you have inner peace, your mind is not constantly racing. You're not overwhelmed by every emotion. You don't overreact to small problems. This preserves energy. Instead of being pulled in different emotional directions, you stay centered. How to protect your emotional energy? You don't need to control every emotion. You need to manage your relationship with them. 1. Acknowledge your emotions. The first step is awareness. Instead of ignoring how you feel, notice it. I feel stressed. I feel anxious. I feel overwhelmed. Naming the emotion reduces its intensity. 2. Stop suppressing. Let yourself feel emotions without immediately trying to escape them. This doesn't mean overthinking. It means allowing. Emotions pass faster when they are acknowledged. 3. Reduce emotional triggers. Identify what consistently drains you. Certain people, certain environments, certain habits. Limit exposure where possible. 4. Create emotional release. You need ways to process emotions. Writing, talking to someone, physical movement, quiet reflection. This prevents buildup, the emotional reset. Just like your body needs rest, your emotions need reset. Simple ways to reset. Take a walk without distractions. Sit in silence for a few minutes. Focus on breathing. Step away from stressful environments. These small actions can restore emotional balance. The strength in emotional awareness. Many people think emotional control means being strong, but real strength is not suppression. It's awareness. When you understand your emotions, you react less impulsively. You make better decisions. You conserve energy. The identity shift. As you develop emotional awareness, something changes. You stop being controlled by your emotions. You start observing them. You create space between what you feel and how you act. And in that space, you gain control. The bigger picture. Your emotional energy affects everything. Your motivation, your focus, your consistency. If your emotions are unstable, your actions will be too. But when your emotions are balanced, your life becomes more stable. You are not tired because you're doing too much. You are tired because you're carrying too much emotionally. And once you learn to release, process, and manage those emotions, your energy returns. Emotions are not your enemy. They are signals. They tell you what matters. They show you what needs attention. When you ignore them, they drain you. When you understand them, they guide you. And when you learn to manage them, they become one of your greatest sources of energy. In the next chapter, we'll explore purpose energy, the force that gives direction to everything you do and turns effort into meaning. Because energy alone is not enough. You need a reason to use it. Chapter 10. Purpose, the ultimate energy source. There are people who wake up early without forcing themselves, who work long hours without feeling drained, who push through challenges that would break others. From the outside, it looks like discipline, it looks like motivation, but underneath, there is something far more powerful driving them: purpose. Purpose is the difference between doing something because you have to and doing something because you feel compelled to. It's what turns effort into energy, work into passion, struggle into growth. And without it, even the simplest tasks can feel exhausting. The missing piece. You can have a perfect routine, strong habits, clear goals, and still feel unmotivated. Why? Because none of those answer the most important question: why does this matter? Without a meaningful answer, your brain resists effort. It conserves energy. It avoids discomfort. Because from its perspective, there's no strong reason to push forward. Why? Meaning creates energy. Purpose is not just a philosophical idea. It has a direct impact on your energy. When something matters deeply to you, you think about it more. You care about it more. You act on it more. This creates a natural flow of energy. The pull versus push effect. Most people try to push themselves to act. They rely on discipline. They force effort. This works for a short time, but it's exhausting. Purpose works differently. It pulls you forward. You don't have to force yourself as much because you want to move. The difference you can feel. Think about two situations. Situation 1. No purpose. You're doing something you don't care about. Every minute feels long. Every task feels heavy. You look for distractions constantly. You use energy just to stay engaged. Situation 2. Strong purpose. You're working on something meaningful. Time passes quickly. You feel focused. You keep going, even when it's hard. Instead of draining you, the work gives you energy. That's the power of purpose. Why most people feel unmotivated. Lack of motivation is rarely about laziness. It's often about lack of connection. People are working toward goals they don't truly care about, following paths they didn't choose, living routines without meaning. This creates a disconnect. You're doing things, but you don't feel connected to them. And without that connection, energy disappears. The illusion of external motivation. Many people try to solve this problem with external motivation, watching motivational videos, reading quotes, listening to speeches. These can create temporary energy, but it doesn't last because it's not coming from within. Why it fades? External motivation fades because it's not tied to your personal meaning. It's borrowed energy, and borrowed energy always runs out. Purpose is personal. One of the biggest misconceptions is that purpose has to be something big, a grand mission, a life-changing vision. But purpose doesn't need to be dramatic. It needs to be meaningful to you. What purpose really is? Purpose is simply a reason that makes your effort feel worth it. That's it. It could be improving your life, supporting your family, building something you care about, becoming a better version of yourself. It doesn't have to impress others. It just has to matter to you. The layers of purpose. Purpose can exist on different levels. 1. Short-term purpose. Daily or weekly goals, finishing a project, learning a skill, completing important tasks. These give you immediate direction. 2. Mid-term purpose. Goals that take months or years, building a career, growing a business, achieving financial stability. These provide sustained motivation. 3. Long-term purpose, your broader life direction. Who you want to become, what impact you want to have, what kind of life you want to build. This gives your life meaning. All three levels work together, purpose and resilience. Purpose doesn't just give you energy, it gives you strength. When things get difficult, most people stop. They feel tired. They feel discouraged. But when you have purpose, you keep going. Not because it's easy, but because it matters. Pain with meaning versus pain without meaning. Pain without purpose feels pointless. You want to escape it. Pain with purpose feels different. You accept it. You endure it. You grow through it. Purpose transforms struggle. How to find your purpose. Purpose is not something you suddenly discover. It's something you build through awareness and action. Step 1. Pay attention to what matters. Ask yourself, what do I care about? What do I enjoy working on? What feels meaningful to me? Don't overthink it. Start with simple answers. Step 2. Take action. You don't find purpose by thinking alone. You find it by doing. Try different things. Explore different paths. Action creates clarity. Step 3. Notice your energy. Pay attention to when you feel engaged, focused, alive. These are clues. They point toward what gives you energy. Step 4. Build. Don't wait. You don't need a perfect purpose to start. Start with something that feels meaningful now. Over time, it will evolve. Purpose and discipline. When you have purpose, discipline becomes easier. You don't rely on willpower as much because your actions are aligned with what matters to you. This reduces internal resistance, and when resistance is low, action becomes natural. The energy of direction. One of the biggest benefits of purpose is direction. Without direction, you feel lost. You waste energy on unimportant things. You struggle to make decisions. With direction, you know what to focus on. You use your energy more efficiently. You move forward with clarity. The danger of living without purpose. When you live without purpose, everything feels heavier. You procrastinate more, feel less motivated, get distracted easily because there's no strong reason to stay focused. Over time, this leads to frustration, not because you can't do more, but because you're not connected to what you're doing. The identity shift. Purpose changes how you see yourself. You're no longer just completing tasks, you're building something, becoming someone. This creates a deeper level of commitment. You don't just act, you act with intention. The ultimate energy source. Physical energy can run out. Mental energy can fade. Emotional energy can fluctuate. But purpose can keep you going even when everything else is low. It gives you direction when you feel lost, strength when you feel weak, motivation when you feel tired. It is the most powerful form of energy. You don't need to force yourself to work harder. You need a reason that makes you want to. Because when your actions are connected to meaning, energy follows naturally. Most people are not exhausted because they're doing too much. They're exhausted because they're doing too much of what doesn't matter to them. But when you build a sense of purpose, everything changes. You stop chasing motivation. You stop forcing discipline, and you start moving with clarity, energy, and direction. Chapter 11. Becoming an Energized Human. By now, you've explored the 4 dimensions of energy: physical, mental, emotional, and purpose. You've learned how sleep, nutrition, and movement affect your body. You've discovered how focus, mental clarity, and emotional awareness shape your mind. And you've experienced the force of purpose, the ultimate source of unstoppable energy. But understanding energy is only the beginning. Transformation comes when you integrate all these principles into your life and embody them every single day. That is the path to becoming an energized human. Someone who operates at peak vitality, clarity, and purpose, regardless of circumstances. This chapter is your blueprint to step fully into that life. The energized human mindset. Energy isn't just a resource, it's a lifestyle. Becoming an energized human starts with how you think about energy. Energy is your most valuable currency. Time can be replaced, opportunities can reappear, but your energy, physical, mental, emotional, and purpose-driven, is finite and precious. Protect it. Invest it wisely. Your body, mind, and emotions are interconnected. Movement fuels thought. Emotions guide action. Focus multiplies results. Treat them as one system, not separate parts. Energy is cultivated through intentional action, not wishful thinking. You can't wait to feel energized. You must create it. The small daily choices you make, rising early, moving your body, managing emotions, focusing your mind, compound into extraordinary vitality. Purpose amplifies everything. When your energy aligns with meaning, effort turns into momentum, and momentum turns into unstoppable results. Purpose is the engine, everything else is fuel. The daily energy integration. Transformation isn't about radical overnight changes. It's about consistency and integration. Here's how an energized human structures a life of high energy. Morning. Activate your body and mind. Rise with intention, not alarm clocks. Move your body through exercise, stretching, or mindful walking. Hydrate and fuel your body to prime energy levels. Set mental clarity. Identify one key purpose-driven goal for the day. Daytime. Sustain focus and flow. Break tasks into focused, distraction-free blocks. Take short movement and mental resets to prevent fatigue. Manage emotional energy. Notice stress, release tension, and avoid unnecessary negativity. Prioritize high-energy work aligned with your purpose. Evening. Recharge deeply. Disconnect from digital noise and overstimulation. Engage in reflective practices, journaling, gratitude, or mindful meditation. Sleep intentionally. Prioritize recovery to restore both body and mind. Visualize your next day. Energize purpose before rest. Habits that transform energy into life. Energy isn't just a feeling, it's a habit system. Every action you take shapes your overall vitality. Movement is mandatory. Even short walks, stretching, or quick exercises reset both body and mind. Focus is sacred. Protect attention as your most valuable asset. Emotional awareness is non-negotiable. Release what drains you and nurture what energizes you. Purpose is your compass. Align every action with meaning to make energy multiply naturally. By consistently applying these principles, you stop being reactive to life. You start creating life from a place of energy, not depletion. Becoming resilient through energy mastery. An energized human does not simply survive challenges, they thrive in them. Why? Because energy is resilience in motion. Physical energy allows your body to endure stress without breaking. Mental energy gives clarity and focus when chaos surrounds you. Emotional energy allows stability when feelings surge. Purpose energy drives you forward even when external conditions are difficult. Energy mastery turns ordinary people into extraordinary doers. It makes stress manageable, obstacles surmountable, and growth inevitable, living a life of unstoppable momentum. Imagine your life with energy fully optimized. You wake up excited, not exhausted. You approach tasks with clarity, not overwhelm. You navigate challenges with calm, not frustration. You live each day with meaning, not drift. You inspire others by the way you show up. Vibrant, confident, alive. This is not fantasy. It is achievable when energy becomes your primary focus, not an afterthought. The compound effect of energy. Every choice you make adds or subtracts energy. Skipping movement, energy drops. Consuming negativity, energy drains. Working without purpose, effort feels heavy. Conversely, prioritizing rest, focus, and emotional balance multiplies your energy. Aligning effort with purpose creates unstoppable momentum. Small, consistent energy practices compound into massive life transformation. Energy is not linear, it's exponential. The identity of an energized human. Ultimately, this is not just about strategies, it's about identity. An energized human thinks, acts, and feels differently. They see life as a series of choices, not obligations. They protect their energy fiercely. They act with intention rather than reaction. They cultivate their mind, body, and soul daily. They live in alignment with a purpose bigger than themselves. This identity shapes behavior automatically. The more you embody it, the more effortless energy becomes. Your life transformation vision. Here's the vision of what your life could be if you commit fully to energy mastery. You wake up each day with clarity and drive, ready to tackle your most important work. Your body moves with strength, your mind thinks with precision, and your emotions remain steady. You flow through the day in deep focus, accomplishing tasks with ease. You face challenges with resilience. Stress becomes manageable, and setbacks fuel growth. Your actions are guided by purpose, making effort feel meaningful and life profoundly satisfying. You go to sleep recharged, knowing you lived intentionally and prepared to wake up stronger. This is the life of an energized human, a life that is vital, intentional, and unstoppable. Energy is the true currency of life. Without it, nothing matters. Success feels empty, goals feel heavy, and days feel long. But when you master your energy, you unlock clarity. You unlock resilience. You unlock unstoppable momentum. Your life transforms from reactive survival to proactive creation. You no longer wait for motivation or external circumstances. You become a force of energy in the world, physically vibrant, mentally sharp, emotionally steady, and purpose-driven. And that is the ultimate form of human power. Now it's your turn. Start applying these principles today. Move your body, focus your mind, manage your emotions, align with purpose. Because when you become an energized human, the world becomes limitless, and so do you.